days, or 10 days. We've been married 10 years.
Hockey talk for referees, coaches, players, and fans.
Broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. With your hosts, Scott Smokin, Silz, and Brad
What day's your anniversary? Mine's November 3rd.
The 6th.
Right
now.
And now your host.
Oh, yeah. It is Wednesday, everybody. Drop your socks and grab your peanut butter sandwich. Because
I knew you were going to go there. Hey, so interestingly enough, somebody sent me a article about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and how bad they are for you. Thank you for putting that stigma in everybody's head.
And yet,
I
if
appreciate
you go
it.
to the summer camps, like I was in one of the rinks, and the coaches bring like 6 loaves of white bread and jars of peanut butter to feed the players during the summer camps, so that's their on ice nutrition.
It's fast protein, I'll give you that. I mean,
exactly.
And that ton of sugar. Tons of sugar.
Well, I hope everybody's doing well. We got a lot to talk about today. I know I put up in the thumbnail that we're going to be talking a little bit about Ccm World Invite. The name changes, but it's Ccm World Invite, I believe. So we're going to talk about that. And got some rules stuff we were going to go over today and a bunch of other stuff. But, the big news, obviously, Chicago Blackhawks.
For Chicago.
Got some, it's big in the NHL. There's some serious problems there. And, of course, our friend Stan Bowman is gone now. He resigned before he could be fired. That was definitely going to happen, I guess. And I don't know how many of you guys have really been studying this, but there's over a 100-page document that's up online that you can look at, and it is pretty interesting. I looked at it a little bit for about a half hour, and wow, it's deep. And there's a lot of people that still could be in a lot of trouble. Joel Quenneville being one of them, the general manager from Winnipeg being another one of them.
Shovel day off.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, now you have to wonder, is this why McDonough was let go a number of years ago? In anticipation? Who knows? I mean, this thing's been going on for over 10 years.
Yeah, it's a long time in the running.
And, they're thinking that soon now, player John Doe will probably be named. And if he's named, then there's going to be more fallout, and there could be fallout for the players. I mean, let's face it, they're saying that everybody in the locker room or in the dressing room knew about it. And,
allegedly.
A lot of them said they don't know about it. But, the facts are, and even in the report, who was involved in the meetings. Now, Rocky's not named. I noticed Rocky's name wasn't in there, but everybody else's name was in there. That was like management. And this Aldridge guy was allowed to get the Stanley Cup after this had happened. They gave him his day with the Stanley Cup. They let him participate in the celebrations. So even though he had signed like a letter of separation from the Hawks or whatever they call it, I don't know if it's termination letter or whatever, but it's not good. There's definitely going to be some more fallout. So I don't know if you guys have been following the story. You guys have any comments that you want to post about? Don't post anything crazy, but if you have some questions or something, or you guys want to bring some stuff,
So we're not the lead.
Let's not go there. We are not judge and jury here. But, teams will do what they can to win. The Hawks had not had a Stanley Cup. This was their chance to make their first run. And I guess Quenneville said, he didn't want to ruin the team chemistry. Bad things happen, and, you play on. It's a business, and there was a lot of money involved and a lot on the line for the organization. The organization had struggled for so many years. And this was their chance to get at least back to having a full stadium.
Well, let's get over this ugliness, Scott, and get to the other ugliness.
Okay, what other ugliness? Oh,
that they're 5-1.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people that have season tickets, and their head coach, they don't even announce his name as being the coach right now. So what's the deal with that? I mean, I was there home opening night, and man, the stadium couldn't have told you what they thought better about him. It was very loud with the booing section. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's, all on him, because is the team designed for what he's trying to do? Like, if you look at it, they're playing this man-on-man defense, which I don't understand how you can even try to do in the NHL, but it's not my team. So, but I know a lot of Hawks fans are not happy.
It's his team. Bowman gave him the blessing of a new contract, and thought that he's doing a great job, and then he's in touch with what's happening in the NHL, and that he knows the teams and everything else. That was the ringing endorsement that he got. And he's still the coach. Let's face it, he's still there.
For right now.
Probably until they get a new general manager. And, I wonder, anybody have any thoughts of who the front runner for the general manager position might be? I'd love to see you put that in the comments. Who would you like to see come in, or who do you think is the front runner? I mean,
you and me were talking about it, Scott.
Could we get Bob Pulford back?
I don't think that's going to happen.
No, but is Doug Wilson a candidate? He's got a pretty good track record. Is Dale Talon a candidate? Or actually, Dale's name was mentioned in the document. So I think, I could be wrong on this because I don't know the dates to, that well. I don't have them in front of me, but I think he was still around, or he hired. There was something to do with the hiring of Aldridge at the time. Like maybe he was in place at that point in time. What year did
I don't know.
He leave? Talon leave? I don't know.
I don't know, to be honest with you. They've had so much change in the past 20 years. Like, it was tough to keep up with it. Like, they've had players come and go.
We're surprised that Bowman was here as long as he was, but, we're still paying for the Stanley Cups. I mean, I got to think that, having his dad help get him a Stanley Cup, there was some allegiance to keeping him there. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Well,
if you guys want to comment on that, I'd love to see what you have to say.
You win a cup, they're probably going to keep you on a little bit longer than they normally would.
Yeah, well, they won more than a cup, so they did their job. I mean, they did a great job. But now there are some things that have been questioned, and that document is pretty intense if you take a look at it. And it's up online; you guys can get it.
Yep.
I found it pretty easily, so if you want to check it out,
it's linked to the Blackhawks announcement about all of it. It's in that announcement, and I get where they're being open with all of it. So it's definitely
there's a lot of people involved. There were a lot of people in that meeting, so I think they have to be pretty open about it. It's not something that they could keep quiet. There's just no way. But they kept it quiet for this long. I mean, it's more than 10 years. But I think ultimately it's going to blow up here some more. So we'll wait and see.
Away from the ugliness. On to some comments.
So, Brian says, how do you like that? You like the way I flew that in? That
was good. That's different.
Us. It's got a little new look to it. I got to figure out how we can make these pictures circular. I saw there's a way to do that. I haven't figured that one out yet. But happy Wednesday to you, Brian. Just saw him the other day. Always good to skate with him. Karen says, no secrets in hockey. The psychiatrist should be crucified. Yeah. Alan checking in like the four-man system. Okay. All right, Alan. Thank you. And Carl is here. Can Iowa board publish the 2021 board meeting notes because only 2021 and before meetings have been published? I can't answer that question because I'm part of that Iowa thing. So
I will pass that along because I know that those are normally up there.
Okay. Well, there you go. See, you got a board member that can answer those questions, so that's good. All right. So basically, a couple things that we wanted to cover today. One is we've got CCM coming. Buckle up your seatbelts.
CCM. Hey, Scott, for anybody that's not a Chicago person, explain CCM. Yeah.
So the CCM World Invite is like the biggest tournament of the year. And we have teams that come in from all over the country. We still have some teams that come in from around the world that come to Chicago. And how many games are there? It's like 3,000 games or something.
It's not that high. So I know the count. So like for that tournament, the count is, so I'm I might be wrong with one number. So it's either 1,248 or 1,298 games will be played just in that tournament alone.
Yeah, it's almost 1,300 games. It's a crazy, crazy weekend for everybody that's an official here in the Chicagoland area. And we have officials that come in from around the country to help out because there's that many games. I mean, how many games are you skating that weekend? Just out of curiosity.
15. Six,
just for
three.
CCM, right? Yeah, I'm
That's
doing
it. I'm not
7, 5, and 3. 7,
yeah, I'm not
5,
skating
and 3.
anything else. I did that once with a buddy. We decided to take the Catholic League. There was a double on Sunday night at, I think it was like 7 and 9.
That would be painful.
And we took it. Well, the only saving grace is they were 4s. So, there's 4 of us out there.
Yeah.
But after skating that much, we're the referees in both games. And I don't think either of us took one stride backwards. I think we skated forwards the whole time, and both of us were just looking over our shoulders because we were so tired that you couldn't even get your feet going fast enough. And then the worst was, for me, this is personal on it, I sat. I went home and I sat for a couple hours. And then I had to go back to the rink, and my legs were like, what are you, crazy? We were just resting.
Yeah, if you're, I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching the show are actually officiating that weekend. So start hydrating now. That's all I can say. Get some snacks for your bag. Start hydrating. You're going to need it. Get some, pack your lunch. I'm not good at that. I'll be honest with you. And I think the rink I'm working at does not have a concession stand. So, I'm going to be in trouble. 7 games in a day. I think I have a 1 game break. I think I have a 1 game break. That's enough to take the skates off, and that's about it. It's not enough time to get out of the clothes and go to a fast food joint.
Yeah, but
get something.
Bring yourself a bunch of bananas. Do stuff like that. Vitamins work real well. And did you know that peppermints actually take away you being hungry? So that's an old tip. You can chew on a peppermint and you'll kind of starve off your hunger, even though you'll be dying.
I didn't know that. That's a good one. I like peppermint gum, so maybe that keeps me satisfied.
So since you mentioned the skates, all right, everybody go out to your local Target or Walmart or whatever and buy yourself a cheap hair dryer. Okay, because you're going to be skating a ton of games.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I have one in my bag at all times.
And dry your skates out.
Yep. Dry your skates out. The other thing is, it's kind of nice to put them on when they're a little warm and a little softer, especially when you're starting the day, if you need to. The elbow pads, dry them out. The shin pads, dry them out.
In that break too, Scott, you're going to have
dry it out.
Well, hey, Scott. Yeah, this might sound crazy. I figured this out a couple years ago because we have a break of 2 games always between our 6. And
that's what I was hoping for, but I don't think I have that.
Well, you dry your skates out. That's all and fine, right? But your skates are still heavy. Change your laces too at the same time, because your laces, you might not think it, but there's a lot of water in those things, so they don't dry out.
A lot of water or a lot of salt, a lot of sweat.
It could be both. But change those. Just these little things. It actually, makes your day a little bit nicer.
Honestly, bring extra clothes. Bring a couple sets of clothes. Bring a couple pairs of socks. If you can get those skates off, you can get fresh socks on.
Socks?
That is a huge. Oh, you don't wear socks with your skates, Brad?
You've skated with me. I don't wear socks.
I didn't know that. I mean, I didn't wear socks when I was younger. When I was a kid, I didn't wear socks. I do wear socks now.
That's good.
For comfort and, it's just, not only that, I've got those socks that have little padding in them. So they're almost like having a little lace bite protection because you will be suffering lace bite when you work 6 and 7 games in a day. Trust me, by that 4th or 5th game,
you're going to be suffering of something.
You're going to suffer. You're just going to suffer. That's what you're going to do. You're going to suffer.
No, it's a good weekend, and remember it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right. Now, during the course of that, you may have some interesting games, and you're going to have coaches that are coming here because this is the World Invite. They think they are going to win the World Championship. And they're going to demand that their players play like they are world champions at all times. So you may get into some, interesting situations. And, just remember to be calm, remain calm. You've got a lot of games that day. And if you can keep the coaches from losing their mind, it keeps the players from losing their mind. I could speak to that from personal experience. I had a coach recently lose his mind a little bit. And, it trickles down. I will tell you that. Like, the team is fine, but once the coach loses his mind, the players lose their mind too. So.
No, yeah, it's like the captain goes over the side of his ship onto another ship. Yeah. The entire ship follows him. Exactly. So, it's that's the best analogy I can come up with it, Yeah. And sometimes if you can go have a talk with that coach and calm him down, maybe you keep that game on the right path.
Yeah.
So remember, communication. Communication is key.
It is. It is a big part of it. Let's see what else we got here. Our refs from other states coming to CCM.
Yep.
Yes.
Every year.
Yes, Carl, they definitely do. So you will see some people from out of town here.
Yep.
I know I've worked with refs from California, Florida, Michigan. I can't even remember where else. But, yeah, they do come in. We need all the help we can get. It's all hands on deck. Remember, we're short. We're short as it is, okay?
We're short on top of it.
If we're short already, then, believe me, hats off to the schedulers that do this. This is not an easy task, okay? There's only probably one group that can do this in the country.
I could not imagine. Yeah. I can't imagine it. Like, just the overwhelming amount of data that you have to take in, and then somehow the officials go from this rink to that rink to this to that, and show up on time, and they're there, and they're scheduled, and they're not double scheduled, and I bless them.
Well, I've had, in years past, I've had it where I was in one rink and I had to go to another rink. I think I was in Franklin Park, and I had to go, and I don't normally work Southwest, but I was going to Southwest. And the traffic was so brutal, like there was no way I was going to get there on time. So, like, the game started, they kept an official in there with the man spot for a period, and then we switched out at the end of the period. We didn't switch on the fly. Little stuff like that. I mean, just crazy things going on. And, you can end up with, two different officials working your game or whatever the case may be because, guys are commuting from other rinks, and if a game runs later than it's supposed to, anything can happen. So, get there early, guys. Don't get there 30 minutes early. Get there 45 minutes early if you can, just because, it's going to help somebody out. It's going to help your partners out. It's going to help everybody out. Let's keep it running smoothly as possible.
So with that note, if you are running late, you have to finish the assignment that you're on.
Right.
Everybody, if you're running late, we get it. Then pick up your phone, text your partners, let them know what's going on, because there could be a referee that's there. I actually had to do it Sunday. My partner was, for a 2 official system, was on another rink, and the game was like 25 minutes behind. Yeah. So I asked the guy that was working the mite game, or squirt game, whatever it was before, and he was totally fine out on the ice doing a JV game, and he told me, he's like, I don't do this level because I'm not that confident. And skating with him he had to skate like a period and a half with me. I told him, I go, you shouldn't have any issues with this confidence thing. You're fine. So I didn't see it. I understand that it's his mind, and I get that. So once he's ready to work, I think he'll be okay. But he did a good job, and he helped me out, which I could have done it myself, of course. Yeah. Pulled players or whatever. But it is nice if you stick around. I've done it multiple times for guys running late. So it helps us out. It helps the teams out, and it shows that we care.
Another good tip. I know we don't normally do this, but print your schedule out. Print your weekend schedule out with all the numbers and everything on paper and keep it with you. So you don't have to dig into your phone constantly. So you know who you're working with. If you need a phone number or something, it's there. It's handy. We get schedules every day, but it's just a good tip. I find that like knowing the start times and who you're working with as games change out, it just makes life a lot easier in that situation. And it's going to be crazy. That's all I can say. It's a
It
crazy
always
weekend.
is.
Yeah.
Always is.
Yeah. Some good hockey, though. You'll probably see some good hockey.
You should.
I will bet money that you will get some good hockey games out of that. So, that's a little bit on the tips for CCM weekend, and we might share more of those. I know that, speaking of working with a lot of different partners, I spoke to Pops yesterday. He called me, and he said he worked with like 5 different partners last weekend, and he had a great time doing it. He really loved it. But something that he wanted to ask us to remind players, and I think he's going to pull a couple clips to show you guys. Not today, but, one of the things, guys, when you're doing face-offs, bend your knees, get down low.
Yep.
Don't, keep your back straight so you don't get the stick in the face. And, be careful backing out. You got to be aware. You're going to be dropping a lot of pucks, and you're going to be really tired. And, some of those guys get pretty anxious to come in pretty quickly behind you. So, if you're the official up at the blue line and your partner's dropping that end zone face-off, protect your partner.
Yeah, protect your partner.
Yep, that's a big one. We lean on each other a lot in these tournaments. Are these all 2-man this year, Brad, or do we have 3-man going for the
all the games I have are 3?
So you do have
and they're
3.
filled.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I wasn't sure if we were following the drop down to 2. Like we have for so many of the games here, moving forward because we're short.
I'm going to guess that, maybe with us being short, maybe a lot of people are coming in. I really don't know. Again, I'm not on that part, so I try to stay out of that.
Like
hopefully.
A haunted house, I hear like doors creaking. Is like Freddy Krueger coming out?
Well, no, Rach Scott wants to know if you want to come say hi because you're opening doors and things are creaking. She said hi.
Okay. Hey, Rach.
Apparently, we should be done because my sushi's here. So.
Oh, here we go. We got game fee already talking. Do the CCM games have a higher fee? Boy, I sure hope so.
No, they play less.
Boy, I sure hope so.
They play less period length.
I sure hope so, because if that check doesn't look good at the end of that tournament, nobody's going to be happy, right? Carl says, yes, higher fees. You know that for a fact, Carl? Like, you can attest to that? You have the magic crystal ball that tells you what the fee is? Because I don't. Teddy says, I am old. I print my schedule every time I go to the rink. I'm older than you, Teddy. I don't, but, I certainly do for the Nike or the CCM World Invite. So.
Ted probably has one of those appointment books by the hour.
He's got a book he takes out his pencil.
Hey, that's how
appointment is. Yes.
That's how I used to have my schedule back in the day. It was in a calendar, like, and I remember, I can tell you this specifically, my scheduler, one of the schedulers that I worked for, called the first Tuesday of the month my second period at school, in high school. So the first Tuesday of the month was a very long. You got called
to the principal's office every Tuesday at that time. It was a very, so you could confirm your schedule?
I snuck out. I had to go to the bathroom every Tuesday.
Did they have cell phones back then, Brett?
Yeah, I had a Nokia 3000.
Did you have the 10-cent payphone back then?
I had a Nokia 3000. I think it was a 3000. I don't think it was. Maybe it wasn't that model, but it was a Nokia. I remember, if I didn't answer though, I wouldn't hear from him until like Thursday. And I would get all the junk that was left over.
Oh, well, so you definitely want to answer if that's the case.
I made sure.
You didn't want to be working those Might Split Ice games that were left over.
That wasn't the worst part. What you would get is you'd be like, okay, Geneva, Center Ice, Naperville, instead of getting Naperville in a row. Yeah. So you'd have to go around more. So I learned very early that, hey, you want the game? You better answer your phone. Because that's what he's going to call. Now, it must have been how his list was, and he just went down the list because of how the telephone numbers were assorted. Yeah. So, but it was like, why are you calling a high school kid at, 10:30 in the morning on a Tuesday? It never really made sense to me. Yeah. But, also at that time, that certain assigner was, this is why I don't want to go back to a lot of things that people are like, it's better back in the day. That certain assigner, you would have to take his check and bring it to his bank and verify that there was enough money in the account in order to cash your check.
Yeah, that's.
And then on top of it, what would happen too?
Did you have to wait to make sure it could clear? Was that the deal?
Yeah, because sometimes if not, then you cash it and it would bounce.
See, that's
and
the
then
beauty
you're like,
of direct deposit, right? That's the beauty of direct deposit.
Well, so then the other part was that okay, at the beginning of the season, September, you'd work September, you'd get your check October 15th, let's call it, right? Then you'd work October. Well, then you get your check like November 20th.
Oh, it kept
then
going.
You'd work November, and then you'd work then you'd work like November, and you'd get your check January 3rd. Oh. And as the season wore on, it got later and later and later, and then it would start over again. It was just how it was.
Like I look, I get they pay us at a scheduled time, and they have to do billing and all this stuff to get it, but I don't understand this in this day and age, why it's not tied to a credit card, tied to a PayPal or a Zelle or some form of electronic payment.
I can answer that.
Ordering 6 referees for this day. Great. Enter your credit card number now and click.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Because certain clubs have bylaws that don't allow anybody to pay other than the treasurer, and it has to be paid. An invoice has to be paid in the full amount. So that's really the interesting part. It puts people in these weird situations.
Okay, but that's kind of dated. Like honestly, maybe they need to revisit it. I'm sure that if the powers that be turn around and said this is the way we're going to do it moving forward,
you can't violate
figure
bylaws.
out your bylaws and get your change made. But that's how it's going to operate because as it is, you don't have any referees for some of these games, so you better follow the policy.
You get paid on time, so don't say that you don't.
I didn't say that. That didn't come out of my mouth. I'm just saying. I just think it would be easier for everybody involved.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you.
That's the way things work.
That's the reason.
Okay. I'll accept that, but it just seems like we're not taking advantage. Well, it's not us, but they're not taking advantage of the technology of the way things function in the business world nowadays.
Scott, do you still write checks and mail them in for bills?
No, I don't.
I know people that handwrite checks and mail them in for bills. I don't even own any checks.
Yeah,
I haven't owned checks in about 5 years.
I do have checks, but I think I use it for one of the restaurants because he doesn't take anything but cash, but he'll take a check.
What? Wait a minute. Wait. Yep. Okay, hold on. He won't take a credit card.
He won't take a credit card. He'll take cash. And cash only, but he will take your check because he knows you. And so you just bring a check so you got enough cash to cover, and boom.
All right, hang on. Hold on.
I know it sounds crazy, but...
No.
He's saving 3.5%, and it's a pretty well-known restaurant, too. And hockey guys know who I'm probably talking about.
I get what he's doing there. But anyways, I got to ask, okay? Since he takes checks, okay? Does he have the wall of shame?
No, there's no wall of shame up there.
No?
I think he knows, I think he knows who he's taking checks from.
Checks from? Yeah. That's okay. I get it. You know why I don't write checks? Because all my information's on the bottom of that check. This day and age, people get a hold of it, accidentally, or your check, you hand it to somebody and they put it down on a table or something. Somebody comes by with their smartphone, takes a picture of it. They got my routing number and my bank number. All they got to do is go make checks. And then write forged checks out of your account. It does happen. So that's why I'm like, no more of this junk.
Well, we are not here to teach banking 101 or whatever.
Hey,
or
it's
the
a
advanced
tangent.
Course of banking. I know that's your specialty, but
it's not.
Okay.
I just don't like wasting money.
All right. So I've got a question
Sorry
for
about
you.
that.
All right.
Yes. All right.
So when we have plays what is that look we're getting?
I don't know. I was acting like I was frozen.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. When would you determine that a player is off the ice? And what I mean by that is if you have a too many men situation
a line
on
change?
the ice, when would you say that the player is off the ice? So let's say a player comes out over the boards, receives the puck, but the guy is going to the bench. Is he on the ice, or if he gets a leg up, is he off the ice? If he's in the
process
of getting off the ice, is he off the ice?
So what you're looking for? Are you looking for the calling of interference? Or are you looking for the calling of too many men?
Too many men.
All right. So as long as they're within reach of getting in the bench, that's how it's worded. If they're physically able to get in the bench, so they could be standing at the door, and the door's not open yet. The players could be jumping out in front of them, and they're waiting for them to come out. And as long as they're physically able to get in the bench, they may not be off the ice, but they're considered not part of the play. Now, if it hits them in that motion, okay, that's not too many men because
it's not too many men. I'm talking about
correct.
Player has come on the ice, has received the puck, has an advantage now because the other player is not retired. He has not left the ice.
Well, it depends on did the player that jumps out on the ice, did the other player make it to the bench? Yes or no?
No, he's near the boards, but he's not. He doesn't even have a hand on the boards yet to even try to get over the boards.
But can he get in the boards? Can he get it in the bench? That's the first question I'll ask.
Yeah,
from where he's at,
there was nothing impeding him from getting over.
Okay, so you solved that. Is he actively participating in play?
No, he's not because the guy that came off the bench already has the puck and is
okay. But is
gaining an advantage at this point. By the way,
Scott, is he actively participating in play? If he's skating towards where the puck is coming from, and the other guy jumps out in front of him, instead of him trying to get in the bench, or is he skating towards where that puck is coming from? Is he actively participating in play?
No, he's not actively participating in play at that point.
All right, so
because the person that just came off the bench is the active participant at that point.
No. I don't think you're hearing me right.
Yeah.
So is he actively pursuing the puck, and the other guy jumped out in front of him from the? Let's say he's at the end of the bench, and the guy at the front of the bench jumps out. Is he actively pursuing the puck, and the other guy jumps out and plays it? No.
No. He's going to retire, but he's not there yet. And he's not. So that's why I'm asking.
The question is was he physically able to get in the bench? You said yes.
Yes.
Was he actively participating in play? No. Now the next thing is,
but neither were four other guys. They weren't actively participating in play either.
Did they gain an advantage?
Yes.
Now what was the advantage that was gained?
The advantage was the player that came off the bench had the puck right to him, and he was on the go. He had an advantage at that point.
What happens if the guy was climbing over the boards and the guy jumped out? I mean, I'm just saying, what's the advantage? If you had an advantage gained by too many players being on the ice, you have a penalty.
Yeah.
If not, if they're not actively participating in play and they're able to get on the bench, there's no advantage gained, you don't have too many. That's the way I can put it. See, I wasn't there, though. That's the thing.
I totally get, you can have, guys are in the process of a change. I totally understand that. But when the player has come off the bench, the player that came off the bench to replace him has gained the advantage and has the puck, and the other player has not retired at that point.
But
you have too many.
Yeah, if he gained an advantage. But I'm just saying, though, if they're at the bench, first you got to determine it at that bench.
Yeah.
If they're not at the bench, you have too many. Yeah. If they're actively participating in play and the other guy jumps out, you have too many. Then is there an advantage gained? That's it.
Let's cover what is the rule for the player coming out of the penalty box and being replaced by another player. Because I see, we see situations where a player hasn't gotten out of the box and the other player's already.
Well, they're sleeping. Yeah, they're sleeping in the box. I love that.
They're taking a little nap. They're enjoying the food, complimentary food and beverage that we provide for them when they're in the penalty box.
So the way that works is, when the player's coming out of the penalty box, the top official, it doesn't matter what system you're working, one of the top officials should be watching them exit the box. So that player needs to come out of the box, get both feet out, technically, by the rule book.
Right.
Hit the ice, and then his replacement can switch with him. Now, it's fairly easy when the penalty bench is across the rink, because it doesn't happen. It's when the penalty bench is in between the two benches, and the guy will jump out of the bench, but yet the guy still hasn't come out of the penalty box. I know that's where you're going with this.
Exactly.
So that player is supposed to get out of the penalty box
Before
and
another player enters
correct
the ice.
Now, so keep an eye on it, but also, yes, it's a penalty, but if it doesn't affect play again,
Right.
think about it that way.
Of course.
So it's one of those.
Because that's something that, you don't see. The other thing I think we should cover is when you do have unusual situations, because we were going to ultimately, I know you guys know we have a new reporting system. It's not new, but we're using the USA Hockey reporting system. So I think
it's new to us
trying to
in
work
Chicago.
on I'm sorry for the people in Chicago, because we've used our own Illinois system that we have. So now we're using the same system that the rest of the country is using, which is the USA Hockey system. And if you haven't done a game report yet, you will be a little confused going in the first couple of times, probably. It's not that easy to get in there and figure it out. And you need a lot more information than you needed in the past, because you need USA Hockey numbers, you need organizations, you need leagues, you need a lot of information that we didn't normally request because the powers that be knew that information. So, but now you're doing it on a national level. So anyway, we'll work on that. But anyway, I was going to ask, when you have unusual situations for some penalties, what do if you tee the coach up, for example, what do you put on the score sheet? It's charged to the coach.
Right. So the player number is a C.
Yeah, it's a C. And if you have a what else would be a good one to point out?
No. Here's a good one, Scott. Okay, in the second period of the game, you have a bench minor, right? So you charge that to the coach.
Right.
Then the assistant pipes up right afterwards and you launch them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, it's charged to the coach again.
Yep.
Then, before the end of the game, you end up throwing the head coach out, too. For a bench minor, and then, or just a game misconduct, or wherever you're going with it, okay?
Right.
Note on the sheet AC and HC.
Assistant coach, and very good point. See, that's where I was kind of going with this. Like, I want to make sure everybody kind of knows some of this stuff. And, let's say you have even an equipment violation. Let's say you have something thrown out on the ice, or you have two sticks in play, or a broken stick. How should it be recorded on the score sheet, and who gets charged with those penalties? So that you
the bench gets charged if they throw something on the ice.
Right.
Yep.
I'm just trying to cover some of this stuff. I just wanted to cover some of it so that everybody would be familiar with it. If we're coming into a crazy weekend,
and
we see a lot of crazy stuff during this tournament. So I thought everybody should be well prepared. I didn't even prepare you for this, so I'm just throwing curveballs.
It's just like if the puck is on the ice and the guy is sliding down the ice and he picks it up and throws it. Right. Okay, it's a delay of game, yes, blah, blah, blah. But then notate on there that they picked the puck up off the ice and threw it.
Yeah.
It's excuse me. It's one of those things. You're going to see
some unusual situations during this weekend, and that's part of what we were going to try to cover today. So I want everybody to be, well aware.
Unusual is
unusual
beyond what you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be a busy weekend, so just get ready as always, and it's fun.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about when they had all the buses parked on the one side of the rink? Did you ever hear about that?
No. What rink?
So,
what do we?
I'm not going to name the name of the rink, but they've done it twice now. But the buses are parked on the one side of the rink because there's this long driveway type thing. So the buses are sitting there and they're running, right? Well, the rooftop units that are drawing in air from outside are right there. So carbon monoxide, the entire rink, both ice surfaces, had to shut down, move all the games.
Both ice surfaces. Fire department, that narrows it down a little bit.
Not really, but
there's one that has a Zamboni that does that to the ref room. Okay.
Well, there used to be an old one back in the day. I remember I was playing, and one of the referees, he was like 13 or 14. I was little, like 8 or 9. He got carbon monoxide poisoning from being there, and it was not good. They shut the rink down. The fire department comes. It's kind of intimidating where they're wearing the gas masks and they're walking around with, I don't know what the hell that thing's called, the meter thing, but
don't laugh.
not good.
We had this probably 8 or 9 years ago, we had an old carbon monoxide detector in our basement back by the laundry room. It'd been there for many, many, many years, kind of forgotten about. All of a sudden, that thing started beeping.
Yep, because you're bent.
Oh, that's kind of weird. And we ended up calling the fire department. They ushered us out very quickly with the meter, and they were like, "You're going to need to stay out of here for a while." And they stayed there, and they were really nice. They knew who I was. And they, we aired everything out, and they checked it. And then we
was it from this radio program?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're so famous with this show. That's why. Yes, absolutely.
I felt like going there.
Yeah, but anyway, so they were nice, and they got us taken in. And the guy that had done the boiler system had to come back. He worked all night on that thing, and I fired him afterwards. Okay, never had him back again. But because we paid him to check this thing every year. He came in to do the inspection every single year. So that's a tip for you guys. Make sure you have a carbon monoxide detector in your house. That's a free tip, not part of the ref room, but I'm going to give you that one. So you guys.
I agree. Okay? I mean, I have them in my house, and I have them.
It's really important, guys, because you will not know.
I have the ones that my fire alarms. All right, they have them in it, but I also have 2 of them in the house that are plugged in that are battery operated. Yep, I have both.
Yep,
because you can't tell, you just fall asleep. So it's not. I don't want to go that way.
No, so it's a good idea, guys. Hey, we give you all the safety tips.
Safety tips of the week.
Ice. We keep you safe in your house. Want to make sure you get to the games. We don't want any excuses that you couldn't make it to your game.
Yeah,
dude's dead in his bed. No, not an excuse during CCM weekend. Get him over there. Prop him up.
It's funny.
We need 2 bodies there. Just prop him up, okay?
Well,
you take all the face-offs now.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Well, at least you won't care if you get hit by sticks at that point.
That's true. You can shoot pucks at him, won't bother him for a change. Normally he'd be screaming and yelling at all the players for that, but now you can shoot pucks at him. So,
right.
Yeah, we're getting goofy here. I know. Let's see. We got some comments here. Karen says this year I'm paying by Zelle at the end of the day. It worked, or some people won't work. I'm fronting the money, but that amount is less than the officials. Okay. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's how I operate. That's how I like to fly. Is too many men a delayed penalty, or do you have to blow it immediately? I had a level 4 tell me to blow it down immediately.
It's possession of the puck.
Possession of the puck is correct. And do we put our hand up for that penalty?
No.
There you go. Okay. See? All right. Thought I'd throw that one. Another curveball coming at you. No,
You're okay.
We don't have to put our hand up for too many men on the ice. And what's the signal for too many men on the ice?
It's
this is the universal signal that we all give. That means too many men. That is not USA Hockey approved or NHL approved, but
what's funny about it?
6.
It's not. What's funny about it is people don't do it up here. They do it like down at their waistline.
Yeah.
Like upside down. It's like.
Oh, I've never seen that, but usually it's like this. This is the one I see the most often. Yeah, 6. Yeah, there is no official signal, but that's what it is, and that's what it means. Let's see here. If it's not actively participating in play, then it's fine. Calling it in that black and white is not necessary. Okay. Read situation 7, page 31, Steve Drews says. Okay. All right, Steve. Very good. That's good advice. That's about all the comments we have at the moment. What else you want to cover today, Brad?
Well, I mean, number 1 is watch out for the slewfoots at these upper-level games, especially because we're going to be tired, and these kids are going to be tired. So remember that there's going to be some.
Are we watching out for getting slew-footed, or are we watching out for them slew-footing? Because
keep an eye out in the top of the circle area. If you're the back official, it's easier for you to keep an eye on that. But as the low official, you need to be aware of it. These guys are going to be looking for stuff like that. The other thing, we haven't talked about it. I haven't talked about it with a lot of people. Is when a team's on a penalty kill. All right, so. Teams on a penalty kill, the team on the power play, though, will maybe hunt a guy out into the neutral zone, right? You got to be aware of that player the entire time, that they don't try to make it a 5-on-3 situation by tripping a defenseman by knocking them down with their body. Keep an eye on them. And in the 3 official system, I'll tell you this. I've done it with multiple referees. You know, as the referee, when you get in that situation where the play is down in the zone and the guy is up top, just wheel by your partner and be like, hey, keep an eye on that guy. If he knocks his feet out or something, just yell my name. And I'll put my arm up and we'll figure it out afterwards. Because we don't want it to be made a 5-on-3.
Yep.
You know, and it does happen. So as a referee, you know, you got to use the tools that you have. Yep. And linesmen can suggest penalties, injury potential, and blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't mean as a referee you can't say, hey, I want you to watch this for me so that we keep this game fair. You can do that.
You know, the other thing, too, if you've got a very physically active game going and there's a lot of contact, even if it's the 2-man, if you're the high official, make sure you're watching that slot area. You're going to save yourself a lot of problems. That is where most of it develops. Let your partner watch play. Follow what's happening in the slot area. Just kind of a good refresher for a lot of people, and especially when you've got an intense game. Steve Drews also says that Too Many Men has been rewritten. We should probably look at that. So read Situation 7, page 31. You got your book in front of you?
I don't.
You don't?
It's
okay.
It's in my book.
I'd pull it up right now if I could, but I
it's
don't
in my book bag because we did the seminar last week.
Yeah.
So
I got one more. Oh yeah, and this is a big one actually. This is coming from
That's a good one.
The referee in chief. Congratulations to
I was going to bring it up at the end.
And the Illinois folks working the AHL. Yeah, I saw the picture of the 3 of them, which was very cool. So Sam was in the middle on the 4-man, and I saw Jameson out there, and I saw Billy Hancock, and I didn't recognize either one of them because their hair was so long, they weren't clean shaven, all the things that you just don't expect. But you know, both great guys and doing the work out there. So that's very exciting. Happy for them. Season's back, obviously.
Me too.
Yeah, very cool. And Sam, I think we're going to get Sam on the show, aren't we, at some point? Did she say she was coming on, Brad?
Yeah, she's agreed. She's needs a week off. She needs some time off. She's
gotta rest.
She's
gotta recover.
She's tired. You know, she's
sure.
a firefighter as well. So, you know, she's busy. Those can be busy nights. It was interesting. I just refereed with a guy that's a firefighter. I didn't know he was a firefighter. And he was like, oh, well, you know, I just got off a 24-hour. And they had 33 calls in that 24 hours. And I'm like, whoa. And he's like, it was a super busy night. He goes, it happens. He goes, it doesn't always happen. He goes, it happens. And I'm like, how are you functioning?
Is he a paramedic, or is he is he actually like a fire? Or I know sometimes they got to send the truck because the ambulance is already out, or they send both. Just depends too if it's Chicago versus a suburb, or accidents. Right. They're sending multiple people out there, but
so he's low man on the totem pole. So he's in the ambulance right now. And yes, I did say it that way.
The ambulance, call the ambulance.
Yeah,
the ambulance.
I'm not making fun of anybody. I just like when people mispronounce the word ambulance.
I know.
Ambulance or aluminium.
Ambulance. But yeah, they are. That's interesting that they are getting that many calls. Is he in Chicago or?
No, he's in a small community.
Wow, and getting that many calls. That's pretty amazing within 24 hours. That's more than a call an hour. Think about that. Like, you're going. I wonder how long a call actually takes. I mean, if you got somebody that you're going to have to take to the hospital, I would think that's got to take, a half hour, sometimes 45 minutes, depending on, what
paperwork, everything probably.
Yeah, I mean, just getting them out, getting them checked, getting them situated, getting them into the bus. I think they call it in New York. It's the bus. That's the ambulance.
Unless I'm misquoting him, unless he worked a 48, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, I was at the end of a 9-game weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. That was your 48.
Your
48.
It's been a lot, and I'm going to say this, Scott. I don't know if you've had it. We had some games on Sunday to where we had to go from one rink physical building to another rink physical building, and it was impossible. We weren't going to be there on time.
I do that all the time, my friend, and you know what? I did it. I left my house on Sunday because I started in the late afternoon, early evening. And I went in the pouring. So I got out of my house. It was pouring rain. So I got soaked going to the garage to get in the car. Got to the rink. Got out of the rink. Got soaked. Got in the rink. Did the game. Came out of the rink. Got soaked. Went to the next rink.
Well, my point is
the rink
that
I went to doesn't even have a way to connect to the other building, basically, that you're doing.
Yeah, I've heard about
that. Thank goodness I brought some skate guards with me, or I'd had to have gone out and walked like a block and a half, city block, in the rain to get to the next, in my skates, to get on the ice for my next game.
You went on a left field tangent of where I was going with it. So
okay.
We had these two games. We had these two games at the one rink, and then we had this other game. So our one game was going to be at 4:10. And our next one was 5:20, but they were in the rinks are just like that other situation. But you have to actually get in your car and drive a second. So, by the airport. So, we don't need to say the name.
Yep.
Well,
I think that's the same one. Do they have three rinks in that facility now?
They have three. No, not this one's older. Anyways.
Oh, okay, the one I was referring to has three
I know
rinks now.
I know what you're talking about. So, but we had to get done with this 4:20 game. Or 4:10 game and get over to this 5:20 because the 3-man that's at 5:20 only has the two of us.
Yeah.
Because nobody else clicked on any of these 3 games. All right, which is interesting. So we're not going to make it 14-minute periods at 4:10. So we called the other rink, let the front desk know, hey, we're going to be there. We got to the rink. I was met with some people were upset that we were late, but the overwhelmingly majority was, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate
it. Round of
it.
Applause when you got on the ice.
Of course, I got a round of applause. I felt
Don't
I almost
love that as a referee. Now, how many of you people just love getting that round of applause? Like when you're stepping up and helping, like you're not even on that game, and you
brought that up
to from another rink or whatever to help out, and you still get the round of applause. Like, oh, nice of you to show up. It's not a flattering round of applause that you're there.
Well, so what was interesting is we're skating out there. One of the kids from the one bench goes, "Oh, thanks for showing up." And my partner just turned to him. He goes, "We got here as late as possible." And the coach turned to him. He goes, "They were at another rink. We already knew. Why are you ticking them off before the game? What is wrong with you?" He's like, "You're lucky that they're even here." He's like, "We could not be playing right now if they wouldn't have stepped up and taken this." He goes, "This going on right now, and he said the parents treating them the way that they are." He goes, "We wouldn't be playing." And I say thank you so much for him stepping up and doing that. But I've gotten from other stuff too, like just a men's league game I did last on Monday. The guys were talking about referees and whatever, and they asked me, "How many games have you refereed?" And I'm like, "I think by the end of the month I'll have refereed 47 games." And they're like, 47? I'm like, yeah, and I work a full-time job and have 2 kids.
Yeah.
And all of them were like, "Oh, thank you so much for being here. We've had one ref for so long, we didn't know what it looked like for 2. Yeah. So it's been nice for the people that are commenting. Thank you.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it.
It is nice, and we do. And, even some of the coaches, I don't know if they've had to tell some of their players, but some of the captains come up before the game and thank you for coming out or whatever. They appreciate it. They're a little more appreciative than they were before.
Well, I appreciate it.
So they don't like
and it goes
your calls.
Well, then, you know what, though? Scott, I'm going to say this.
But no, it's nice when they do that. I think it's very classy, and I like that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. It's teaching them good sportsmanship. I think that's
well, and I'm saying I appreciate it. So anybody that's done it that might have watched or whatever, I appreciate it. It goes a long way, especially when we're going from rink getting rained on, getting rained on, rink getting rained on. And then let's just talk about, you go from one broom closet to another broom closet, and then you go to a broom closet that has like one of those floor washing machines in there. Yeah. The automatic floor. It's not like we're put in a great situation to start out with.
And everything else that goes with it. Yeah, I know.
So just that little thank you means a lot to me. So I appreciate it. And, there's players that, are happy that we're there. Like I did a college game and the captain came over. He's like, "Oh, he knows me." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so happy you're here." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "I haven't known any of the guys that have refereed our games yet." And I'm like, "Get used to it." because there's guys, everybody's running everywhere, guys and ladies. I'm not trying to just broad term that. I'm not trying to do anything like that.
Refs are running everywhere.
Refs are running everywhere.
Yeah, refs are running rampant.
Yeah, well, and
not
like
rampant,
games,
because we don't have enough of them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just like, I think it was Saturday night last weekend, and I don't know, TBA went out at 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, somewhere like that, and there was still like 24 games on Sunday, and I have no idea how they fill all of it. I don't know how
Sunday looked like
any of the assigners.
A pretty big Sunday, and it's not easy, I'm sure. A lot of phone calls, a lot of begs. Yeah, and if you guys are coaches or parents listening to the show, put some water, put some Gatorade in those ref rooms, put some snacks in there. I mean, guys are working, multiple games. They're running from point A to point B. No time to stop and get anything. Sometimes not even, I worked those 3 games the other day. I had no water. Worked 3 games, no water.
Yeah, if you forget your bottle of water, you're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, you're in such a rush. The first game I had went down to the wire. I didn't think I was going to get to the next game. I had went from point A to point B, and I had like a 20-minute ride, at least 25-minute ride from one rink to the other. And it's pouring, like not normal conditions. So you're getting there, and that game ends up going overtime. And guess what? The other game that I'm supposed to be on in the other rink has already started. So I don't even get out there till the second period. So thank you to my partner for covering. That was a men's league game. The other was not. It was a school game. But, I appreciate the coverage. I did it for somebody the week before. They were on the rink there, and, you just can't get off. I mean, we're scheduled so tight, things happen.
We're doing the best we can to get all the games played.
And, that brings me to one more point I want to make here. And that is, talking about, like, what are the correct amount of time for each period to be played? Is there overtime? Is there shootout? What are, we're on a schedule. The schedulers, when they book us, they pretty much know what we're playing, and they expect that we are going to be able to get from point A to point B, or they wouldn't have put us on the game, to be real honest with you, in most cases. Sometimes it's correct. Desperation. We're talking a Saturday 7 o'clock versus an 8 o'clock at night game or something like that. They're going to still put you on that game to get somebody there. But, if it's a Monday night, that's one thing. But they're expecting, like, okay, he'll be able to finish that game, or she'll be able to finish that game, and they should be able to get to the next game, and they know. They know if you can make it. But then when you get a curveball from a team that normally would
we're going to play
12
we're
minutes.
We're going to play 20-minute periods.
We're going to play 16 or 17-minute periods tonight because we got the ice time. And, let's go overtime in a shootout. And it's like, but
I got to be there.
You've just made me a half hour late to my next game, and it's not really fair to the other team.
Yeah, it's at that point you have to think about everybody else. Guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't, I get that you have the ice or whatever, and if you have the ice, I'm sure if you call the assigners or email them, hey, we're going to play 16-minute periods, they will adjust people's scheduling so that you can have that game happen.
Exactly.
And, they'll adjust the fee as well at the same time, which, if you're going to do that and play that anyways, you should compensate the officials with that time.
They don't.
Send an email. That's how I always do it. And I always go, I've had where they want to play a different time and it's a league game. And I'm like, well, you can play it. I can't tell you not to. But I'm going to send an email. It's going to go to the league and the assigners. So you do whatever you want to do. I'm fine. I know what's supposed to happen here. Oh, no, we'll play the right time then. Okay. But you're right to where the point is we're going to play these 16, 17-minute periods and they're supposed to be 12s.
Yeah.
Well, I can't tell you not to, but the problem is you're only thinking about your one game, which I get. But in the broad spectrum of things, how would you like that if somebody did it to the official that's coming to your game?
Yep.
So
now maybe you got one official instead of 3. Maybe you're supposed to have a 3-man, and both your guys are tied up at another rink.
Yep.
Stuck.
Yeah,
can't get there. And then they got bad weather, and they're busting their tail to try to get there.
All right.
And the weather's not even great.
So here's another thing, just a nice thing, and we covered this during the blizzard last year. Okay, when we had that 14 inches or whatever it was up north.
Yeah.
In Chicago.
Yeah, we were supposed to work a game that night together. That was the only night I got off that entire month was because those games canceled.
But that game didn't cancel.
It didn't cancel until...
Well, we won't get into that part. But it got canceled. But if you're going to cancel a game because of bad weather, remember the officials have to drive there too.
Yeah.
And, no offense, like, nothing is worse when you're driving through bad weather and you're late on top of it, and you run to the rink, and the rink is closed.
Yeah. I've had that happen.
I've had it happen, too.
It's like, did you really need to put the refs basically in harm's way? Because they are really trying to do something that they shouldn't be doing because it's that bad. If it's that bad for you, it's that bad for them. Mm-hmm. You don't even bother to let them know. So, weather's going to be changing now. It will. I mean,
I can't wait.
We're already
this is my favorite time of year.
Almost in November, so, are we in November yet? No, we're not there
yet,
but we're close.
All right, let's clarify something too, because I've heard from a lot of people. I don't know what everybody's thinking. The time change is not this weekend. The time change is next weekend. And I've heard like 10 people say it to me.
Okay, but here's the good news: it's fall back,
during Bauer,
which means you get the extra hour. Okay,
during CCM.
It's fall back, so we are gaining an hour, not losing an hour. The one that's bad. Oh, and here's one more tip for you. If you guys use like the schedule thing that comes out of the site, which I use the calendar.
Yeah, the Ref Ranger software. It doesn't change in your phone. You have to change it.
You have to go in and manually change those. Or what I do, like I've got all my games in for November. I will go delete them all out.
That's what I do.
After it's November, after the time change, I will put them back in. Yep. I forget to do that every time, but you need to do it because if you're living off that, you're going to have the wrong times in there. And it's very frustrating when you show up and you're like, instead of being 45 minutes early for the game, you're like an hour and 45 minutes early for the game. And then
there you go.
Great.
All right. Well, let's end on a happy note, Scott. Your anniversary is next Wednesday, correct?
I believe so. And yours is what? Next Saturday or Friday?
It's definitely during Bauer. I'm never going to live that one down.
Yeah.
Saturday. The 6th. Yeah. So happy anniversary to you and Barb.
And happy anniversary to you and Rachel. So
thank you, sir.
Hard to believe we have very similar anniversary dates. Of course, I think I have a few more years on the anniversary than you do.
Yeah, we're coming up on 10, and I still hear about it every year because I got married when it was Nike Bauer. And there were a lot of officials that were taken off the ice on that Sunday because they were at my wedding.
I bet.
So, but yeah, I always, they like to kid me about it every year. You going to get married again or are you going to show up and skate? Yeah, I'll be there.
Exactly. Yeah,
so we're doing our dinner Wednesday.
You got to pick a different day. That's
we always do.
That's how we've rolled all these years. A lot of lunches too. A lot of lunches.
I'll give you this. God bless my wife. She's awesome. I love her to death. I'll never forget 1 year for our anniversary. She got me Blackhawks tickets the Tuesday after CCM weekend.
Nice.
I turned to her and I said, "You want to go watch a hockey game after I refereed 15 hockey games?"
Yes.
And now we did have,
by the way, and you did.
We did have a good time, but I just was like, the irony of it. You're getting like, I was like, and she just wanted to do something nice, and it was like, you could have bought this like 6 months later. Yeah. But it was fun.
That's I think why I ended up I don't play anymore like I did. I was playing on a lot of teams, but honestly, if I get a night off from hockey, I don't want to see the rink. I don't want to be on skates. I want to chill out.
All right.
So yeah, I know it's occupational hazard, I guess, for what we do. We get a lot of ice time in there. So take an extra game, everybody. Help out. Keep it rolling. We are definitely
watch this weekend.
We are pedal to the metal now for hockey for like till what, mid-March?
Let's not start that. Let's count forwards.
It's full tilt boogie right now. Okay?
Let's count the right way, Scott. Not that there's 6 months left in the season. We've already completed 2 at the end of this weekend. Yeah. Count it in the positive.
Well, do you really count September? September's kind of like
this year, yes.
Preseason. I mean, it was busier this year than it has been. So
because they started early.
Yeah.
So this year, absolutely, I count. It won't
even be just full tilt till March. We're going to be full tilt till June.
I think people are going to play more.
All
right.
Yeah. So buckle up your seatbelts. Stay safe out there. Hydrate. All right.
Hydrate. I love it.
Hydrate. We will see you next Wednesday right here on the Ref Room. I'm Scott Smokin Silz, along with my man Brad Baumruck, and we do this every Wednesday. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you haven't done that, we would appreciate it, and hit the like button and all that good stuff, because that will help everything. All right? Have a great week with that, and we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Yes.